unless you're feeling pretty high. Can you do me a favor, Pittsburgh Kevin?
Oh, yes.
He needs water.
Would you like some water?
Grab me 2 bottles of water,
Two
please?
bottles of water.
Dos.
Yo, man,
Dos wateros.
Yo, man, Lincoln freed the
Oh,
slaves,
wow.
man.
We are live on Facebook.
I'm just telling you.
I
I'm just
mean,
giving you a little
that's
history
just
lesson.
facts.
I'm just giving you a history lesson.
That's just facts.
I would be glad to get you some pasta.
Lincoln freed the Irish.
That he did, sir. That he did.
There's a T-shirt. Lincoln freed the Irish.
Here's
Danke.
some water for you, bitte.
Danke schön. Baby. Danke schön.
There it is.
Was that better for you?
Thank you. That was better for me.
Who's watching? Lily.
Nobody.
It's just
Two
two
people.
Yeah, Lily.
Me.
Lily,
Yeah,
no.
Lily's one of them. Well, you know.
Well, she's watching with both eyes, so maybe that's what.
Stereoscopic.
Well, who started? Remember that thing started? Like, what was?
watching you.
What's happening there? Like, what is going? I don't know what's going on there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Calm down.
Jane Deeber, calm down. Oh, speaking of that,
Yes.
no, we need our sound effects.
That what? Oh. You remember?
Do we need them?
Yeah.
How could you?
Yeah, we do.
Is it like a dire need?
Pretty much.
It's like a diarrhea need.
Wow.
The need for diarrhea is here at last.
Need for speed.
If you'd like to have some diarrhea, just call 1-900.
Chris Lloyd from Texas and Michael Goltz.
Hi, guys.
Chris Wood.
Let me just take a
Michael
moment.
Goltz said everything Metallica did. Hold on, I lost it. After the Black Album sucked blue whale balls.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight.
And he told me that I was ladylike. Duh.
Ladylike.
Does that mean you're like a lady?
Kinda.
Kind of like a lady. Ooh, she's a lady. Lily's like a lady.
That's what I was going with. Yeah.
Okay, this is very bizarre. So this website has sound effects.
Yeah.
And here are the categories.
Here we go.
I'm not going to read them all, but they're like cartoons,
Okay.
footsteps, right?
Sure. Right.
Musical, strings, applause, bells, sports, right? Water.
Sure.
And then there's whips. What is going on?
Are there chains too?
Yeah. Wait, what's the matter
Are
with
there
you?
screams in the night?
Scream?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want.
Yes, Michael, I know you were mocking me for my belch. That was tame. That
Yeah.
was tame. I pulled it back, actually.
Okay. So I think we can do something.
You think?
I don't know.
Well, let's give it a
Well,
shot.
well, let's do something even if it's wrong.
right.
Like most weeks. Yes.
We
Yes,
know how
good
to do
answer.
that.
Oh, we're professionals. Kids, don't try this at home.
Okay. I'm self-conscious because I didn't shave today
I really
I don't
thought
wanna
he was
say
going to
anything.
say
and dye my beard.
I don't want to
because
say
he didn't
anything.
shit.
I didn't want to say anything. He did what?
I thought he was going to say because I didn't shit.
I had
that's
2
later.
shits today.
Oh.
Yeah.
One was giant
those-
fucking enormous.
For those of you keeping track.
It was like 2 snakes
Yeah.
forming a figure 8.
Good.
Wow.
I'm glad you analyzed it.
Wow.
And then
talent.
and then a couple hours later,
Yeah.
I had like a
What was left?
I had the epilogue. I had the post credits scene.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That's
boy.
it.
I'd like to thank the Academy
Yeah. Getting to know
and Kimberly
you.
Clark.
Getting to know all about you.
I actually went out with a girl for a couple times. Her name was actually Kimberly Clark.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those
yeah.
are the names of the toilets. And
Yes,
all the
yes,
public
yes,
places,
yes. I know.
yeah. But she was no relation to the toilet people.
I'm very well
toilet
versed.
people.
The toilet people? John Carpenter's The Toilet,
Toilet people.
She's listening going, God, why?
I know, right?
The toilet people.
he talking about me?
Did you ever see
Ludini and the Toilet People.
There you are. That's gonna be the first. That's gonna be the name of our feature film, Houdini and the Toilet People. Okay, I'm gonna write that in the notes.
There we go. Oh, Lord.
I've been here too long.
Wait, here's no. We'll do it like this.
Coming soon.
Make sure you spell coming
We ain't want no fucking perverts,
No.
and we spelled it the right way.
There you go. With an A. C-A-H. Call me sing. From Pittsburgh Productions.
Ludini and the toilet. Ludini and the Toilet People.
It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't
John's going, what the fuck?
I think that we should have a. That will be the name of our house band, the Toilet People.
We're having trouble recruiting members of the band. Don't know why.
It's a punk band.
Ludini
Yes,
and the
it
Toilet People.
You can't even
I'm
start
not
now.
even going to be able to do this now.
Made it go.
I'm just thinking
You're
about
welcome.
I'm just thinking about all the song, the Toilet People song, the catalog that we'll be releasing.
Yes.
Saint Angry Shit. It was our most controversial album. Shit Sandwich.
We built this shitty.
We built it. Okay, well, we did strike it big though with our cover of Wipe Out.
Jesus.
Oh my God! So I'm not reading none of this. I will not be able to do any of this.
All right.
That's just not happening.
Okay.
No, that's not gonna happen. I got the intro. Check, 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 check.
Lovely.
Okay, we're gonna start. Nobody has said they can't hear somebody, so I'm assuming y'all can hear
Oh, they can
all
hear
the
us.
shit.
They can hear us.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Eyes are rolling.
So here we go. In 5, 4, 3. So, Saint Anger. Was it really that bad? Get ready to rock out with your talk out. It's the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. Moms and dads and boys and girls and children of every age, welcome to the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. I am your ring leader. I was going to say ring master, but then Pittsburgh Kevin would say, youth head master. Wow.
Oh, good. Between Beavis and Butthead today.
Yep, sorry.
Didn't even know.
Beavis and Butt White
And the Four Flushers.
and the Four Flushers.
That was courtesy of Tom Johnson.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, guys. So welcome back. LudiniRockandRollCircus.com, LouLombardiMusic.com. Check them out. Really cool places to find all kind of content that you may not know about, as well as get on our inner circle list where you get to hang out with us live when we do the podcast each week. Amongst other things, we keep the conversation going all week. Folks are posting music in there, funny music commentary, friendly arguing about, this record versus that record and stuff like that. It's really cool. You can find more out about that at LouLombardiMusic.com. So, couple of things before I jump right in. Wolf's Customs. You want to get hold of Wolf's Customs. You know why you want to do that, Lily?
Tell me, Lou.
You want to do that just because.
Oh, okay.
Just because.
Why not?
Like, remember when you were a kid and your some adult or your mother or your father would say, because I said so.
Right.
And we go, because why?
Uh-huh. See? Outwitting the parents.
So,
Yes, that's it.
but that was at one time, in my generation. What am I? Generation? I'm generation whatever. What generation am I? I'm not Generation X.
Yeah.
No,
What came
I'm not a
after
boomer. I'm a Gen Xer.
Yeah, you're Gen X.
exactly.
Okay, so Gen X, like, those were the kind of nonsense that parents said. Like, they just said absolute nonsense. Just like you'd walk down the street, in the summertime in your flip flops, and your flip flop break, and you'd hurt your foot, and you'd start crying, and your mother would say, "Shut up, bro! Give me something to cry about."
Yeah.
Like, that was how you were dealt with as a child.
Right.
It was
made
just-
us better people.
Yeah, and so I have no idea why I'm going there, but let's talk about Wolf's Customs. Wolf's Customs.online. You want to go there because this is a great company that does custom artwork on your musical instrument. Chris Thunderwolf Dotson is the owner, and he's been a big supporter of the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus podcast for a long time now, and we really love him and appreciate him. But check it out, man. If you're a musician, they do some very cool stuff. Of course, this is a podcast, and it's very hard to describe something like that over, for audio. So just go check him out, wolfscustoms.online. But Chris is always pushing the social media thing. So Wolf's Customs, find him on Facebook and Instagram and places like that. RockRageRadio.com. If you like what you're hearing and you like what we're doing, if you're digging what we're putting down, right?
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
What?
You hearing what I'm saying?
What?
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Oh, now I am. Yeah.
You want to go to rockrageradio.com where you can hear what everybody's saying, including great music focused programming and shows by folks like Lily V6 herself.
Yes.
Who are some of the other people on there that are really cool?
We've got Kitra, we've got John himself. Oh my gosh, Tattoo Metal Radio. I can't think of people's names right
That's
now.
okay,
Poison
but-
Ivy Radio Show.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff there. So, a lot of cool radio personalities, great audio content. If you're crazy about music like we are, it's a really cool thing. The app is totally free. You download it right onto your your device, and there you are. You'll love it.
You will, I like.
Love it.
You're gonna like it.
You always
So-
go there.
I know, Loop App, and I know you're gonna like it. You're too young to remember.
No,
Loop
I've
App.
been there. I've been to Pappin.
Oh,
Thank you
really?
very much.
You remember
It was in McMurray.
That's great.
Loop happens.
You're gonna like it.
And you are gonna like it. So, anyways, guys, Saint Anger.
Angress.
And this made some people angry, and we're gonna go and read.
Aptly named.
We are gonna go ahead and read
You're gonna read comments?
we're gonna go ahead and read the comments,
Oh boy.
because I think that the comments bear paying attention to.
Okay.
People took the time to comment on it. Some people feel very passionate about this record. And not necessarily in a good way, but some people do feel good about it. So it was interesting. I would say, though, if I had to, I'm not saying that this was any kind of actual poll, okay?
You said poll.
I said poll. Like official poll or anything, but just I would say that the comments were definitely 70
72.
30, like,
72,
against,
Yeah.
Wow.
Which does not surprise me that that's the way it went.
yeah. I mean, it was, yeah, it just was not, it didn't go well for, no.
Lopsided.
It did not, yeah, it didn't go well for Metallica. I'm making a couple of adjustments here. I'm not satisfied. I'm never satisfied.
No, you're not.
Just like Richard Marx says, I'll never stop until I'm satisfied.
Right.
But so I just thought I don't know. I was just thinking about a lot of film criticism on YouTube, and so there's always like there's a lot of channels that do stuff. They'll go back to some old movie that everybody thought was shit, and they'll say, "Was it as bad as you remember?" or revisiting, The Howling or something like that, and they go back, and sometimes, through the lens of history, you go like, oh no, that was like cool, and I get it now, or it now looks fun and campy, and we all enjoy it. Sometimes it's something that's like a gem is completely appreciated, like John Carpenter's The Thing.
I love that.
That was that was panned by critics, and I had all kind of problems, but found new life on video, on VHS. And there are people like Quentin Tarantino who claim that is one of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
Not just a great horror film. So I was thinking, like, there has to be rock albums like that.
Yes.
It has to be.
Yes.
So that was my mission, was to sort of investigate that. That's why I got into this and found it interesting. And so I was thinking about Saint Anger. It was a record that I actually am not all that familiar with, because I said in the newsletter that it wasn't on the radio. It wasn't on, what I should have said, clarify that, was it wasn't on the radio stations that I was listening to at that time. At that time, I was listening largely to WYEP in Pittsburgh, which is a independent radio station, and I was discovering a lot of like singer-songwriter people, Americana, early American string music, folk, a lot of stuff like that. So my ear was not on rock at all, and this record kind of came and went during that time period. I never really heard it. In Metallica, because of the Napster thing, they weren't on streaming.
Right.
You couldn't go, well, I'll go stream it on something. You couldn't do that. So I never heard it, and that should tell you something about streaming. Somebody wants to hear something they can't hear your music because you're being a little fussy.
Jag-off.
You're being fussy.
Yins are being a jag-off.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it because I rewatched Some Kind of Monster in preparation for this and listened to the album a couple times. So I heard like the fading out once or twice on the X. You know what I mean? I never really, really heard it. So I put it on. Kevin and I listened to it Friday night, and I was like, definitely did not deserve the ire that it gets. Like, not even close. We're going to get into why I think that there's more to it than Lars' drum sound.
That's what everybody focuses on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but we're gonna talk about that too. I don't want to get into the drums just yet. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But we were headbanging to it.
Yeah.
We thought it rocked. Some things that jumped out at me was just the heaviness of it. It is so heavy. It is a really heavy album. It's like the heaviest thing they've done since And Justice for All, in my opinion. Like the Black Album, Load, Reloaded are like very cool records, but they're definitely much more in, they almost sound pop, if sandwiched between And Justice for All and this thing. All that, in my opinion, is completely gone. They went in a completely new direction, as good rock bands do, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think some of their fans want them to be AC/DC.
I was going to say that, yes.
That's why I'm wearing my AC/DC. It's like I was going to say this is my Metallica shirt.
I don't think I have one of those.
Yeah, a lot of fans want them to do that. But I was like, okay, I understood why, like, fans, like the fans that were still wanting them to go back and Justice for All and like retcon themselves and like pretend like that other stuff didn't happen. I knew those fans were not going to like this at all. But some of the criticisms that have been levied at it, I think, are completely unfair. Like it's new metal. It's not new metal. It's not anything like Linkin Park or Hoobastank or Limp Bizkit. It's not anything like any of that. It's like not even close to that. So, if you've held off listening to it or whatever, or because you've been given that impression, it is nothing like that. It's its own thing. It is Saint Anger music. Like I will say this about it too. I've never heard anything like it before, and I've not heard anything like it since. It really, if I had this in my collection on vinyl or whatever, I would be like, this is a really standout album. It sounds nothing like any of that anything else I have. Is it good? Does it sound good? Well, it's subjective.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, if and we're going to talk again about why I think people have certain preconceptions, especially about metal and heavy music in general. But so I think something like this is a kind of a cool topic, and I was really interested to see the responses that when I ran a Facebook post about it, a couple different ones, and the oh boy, there's some real still Metallica pissed off. They're still pissed off. Like
This was a long ass time ago.
it was 2003, and this
Yeah.
is 2022. So it was 19 fucking years ago, and they haven't forgiven
Still
Metallica
mad.
yet. They're still like not going to forgive them. You can. There's other things you can like hate Metallica for your whole life. This is, in my opinion, not one of them. In my opinion, it is a return. Them getting back to like really, really heavy rock, really in your face. It's not. It's in my opinion, it's not something that I would say would be like a commercial sounding record, like in the way that like Enter Sandman, that whole era was at all. It's not like that at all. So that was my kind of just like initial impressions about it. We're going to dig a little deeper here in a few minutes. But Lily, I'm sure Lily has some stuff ready to go on Metallica.
I always have a history of.
So let's get the Metallica backstory.
Well, I don't have the Metallica backstory. I have the album backstory. But Saint Anger, 8th studio album by Metallica, released June 5th, 2003. It was the last Metallica album released through Elektra Records and the final collaboration between Metallica and longtime producer Bob Rock, who they have worked with since 1990. It's the only Metallica album as an official trio because bassist Jason Newsted left the band prior to the recording sessions. And Rock ended up playing bass on the album in his place, which is interesting. The recording began in 2001. It had to be postponed because James Hetfield entered rehab for alcoholism and his other
I said no,
issues.
no.
Did not resume until May of 2002. They rented an old United States Army barracks in San Francisco and converted it into a makeshift studio. The recording is the subject of the 2004 documentary film Metallica, Some Kind of Monster that Lou was mentioning earlier. I have never seen that. Did not have time to watch it. I will get to it eventually. They have an alternative metal style raw production, no guitar solos, which might be a reason people don't like it. Maybe. It departed from Metallica's signature style, so that's another reason I think people didn't like it. Kurt Hammett commented on the lack of guitar solos on Saint Anger, a departure from Metallica. We wanted to preserve the sound of four of us in a room just jamming. We tried to scheduled to be released June 10th, but because they battled with Napster and this whole thing, they tried to refrain from all that and released it a week, or I don't know what difference that made, but whatever. And a special edition of the album was released with a bonus DVD featuring live in the studio rehearsal of all the Saint Anger tracks. Got mixed reviews. Can't remember where I was at now. Oh, they spent 2 years touring to promote the album. Saint Anger won a Grammy Award, Best Metal Performance, certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association for shipping 2 million copies to the U.S. Sold nearly 6 million copies worldwide. 4 singles released. A lot of the singles, or actually a lot of the songs, they never played live. Some they've only played live once or twice, which I do put in my track listings. The snare drum was the widely criticized part. And Ulrich, of course, dismissed the criticism as closed-minded to those who didn't like it. And that's really all the big things.
Wow. Kevin, you have anything you want to add before I jump in? Pittsburgh Kevin is here,
All right,
by the
so,
way, guys.
yeah. So Metallica, not a huge Metallica fan.
Same.
Bones,
I know.
Bones. Let me finish.
Bones likes Metallica.
I know he does. I mean, just listen to the way he plays that right there. It's so aggressive. But, if they're on the radio, I'm not going to switch the channel. But by the same token, I'm not going to go out and buy their entire catalog.
You will.
No, I won't. But like Lou said, we sat down and listened to the album the other night, and I was like, you know what? I like this. I really like this. It's very aggressive. And there were some parts where they kind of held back. Remember, I mentioned that, and I'm like, that really fits the song well. And then they would boom right back into the aggressiveness. So I actually kind of liked it. I mean, there was things I didn't like about it. But Lou and I talked about that, and once I was able to get over that, I could really appreciate the rest of the songs. You know, the rest of the music. So that's my take. I kind of liked it. Am I going to go out and buy it? No. I might go back and watch Some Kind of Monster again, though. So,
I have to watch that.
Yeah.
I have to watch that. I didn't think it was a bad album. I just think people don't like it because it's what Lou said earlier. It's not the same stuff that they were used to, and they want a band that's going to play the exact same stuff. It's like that book, Who Moved My Cheese? It's kind of like that. Why'd you make a change? We don't like this. Blah, blah, blah.
Who Moved My Cheese?
It's a book. It's a great book about change.
That sounds interesting. I'd like to check it out.
Oh, let's check that out.
And and also I think people were still mad about them taking all their shit off of Napster. I mean, I kind of feel like that was a little bit of a black mark on them. So, you know, maybe it was that. Who knows? But anyway.
Wow, where to start? Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Damn, there's so many things to talk about
many
here.
things.
First of all, okay, this is such a guitar player moment in the movie Some Kind of Monster. So they're having a discussion about guitar solos, and you can and Lars, Bob Rock, and I don't know if James is there or not, but those two are definitely talking. No, and then I think James Hetfield is there too, and they're all discussing whether or not they're going to have guitar solos on this album. And you can and Lars is kind of running the show. He's kind of like initiating the conversation, and you see Kirk Hammett there. He's like starting to curl up into like a fetal position. He's got his feet up on the chair. He's like biting his nails, like this, you know, and and like he didn't say this, but like it was almost like he wanted to say, "But I really want guitar solos." You know, it's just like. It just was like, that's exactly what like you thought was going to come out. And he did say something to that effect, like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
No,
Not so bad for him.
that can't be right. You must hate me. So it's if you were ever in a band, see, that's the kind of documentary this is like if you're a Metallica fan and you watch that documentary, you're gonna enjoy it and everything like that. But if you're a musician, you've ever been in a band, that movie goes to a whole other level, because like while you've been in bands, and I know you guys are listening that are in bands, you know what I'm about to say is true. You've been in bands where you're like, yeah, we needed a fucking shrink in there. We needed somebody to straighten because we were fucked up.
Obviously, I wouldn't feel that way. I'm not in a band.
So there's a lot of things about that are really true. I think that the really like this is super heavy, and it has an angry sound, hence an angry drum sound. And when you see the documentary, it makes sense that these are three gentlemen that they're troubled. They're troubled people. They're not bad people. They're just troubled. They're just like, they're frail. They're dealing with problems. I mean, to them, it's like real. It's like, it's easy for us to look at them and go like, well, they're rock stars. It's just like the first time I watched the documentary, I was like, rock stars. Okay, wow, you're fucking rich. You got to bang every hot chick you ever saw. You did every drug. Whatever. But upon second viewing, I just see, just kind of saw it with like different eye. Like these are guys that are just like, they're frail. They're like every other person on the planet. They got their problems. It just happens to be in the context of being in the biggest heavy metal band that ever lived, next to Black Sabbath, probably. There you are, Metallica versus Black Sabbath.
Oh boy.
In any case, so So this all comes out in the film. It all comes out, all their problems, and it's like, you know, part of me thought, well, did they edit? You know, because you can edit things to make
Right, to
stuff.
make it look
I mean,
a
there's
certain
like
way,
there's some
yeah.
great YouTube videos, by the way, where they do just that. They take conversations and they re-edit them, and they have completely different meanings. So I was going like, well, maybe they did this just to like put this forth. But then, man, they come across as really petty. You know, a lot of times, like really like not very nice people, and so you go like, really, would you edit your own film
Right,
about
to
you
show that,
to like make it look like that? Like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, you know what I mean. Look, we're gonna do a documentary about my band, and I want you to edit it so it looks like The Jerk from Steve Martin. He hates these cans. So. We're going to talk about cans in a second.
Finally.
So the album is angry.
Hey, now.
This is what I'm getting to. So the album was born out of a lot of. Also, these dudes, it's 5 years between stuff that they had done. They fought Napster. They were kind of beat up in the press. They hadn't toured. They hadn't put out any new music. And at the beginning of the documentary, they state that they could easily have just gone out and toured with their catalog. Become like a heritage artist, you know what I mean? They just, you know, I just snorted.
Nice.
Sorry.
I swear I'm not doing coke.
It sounded like you were excited. That's all.
He was.
Peggy!
All right, we talked about that last week. Come on.
So they hadn't. There's all that insecurity. Like, you know, can we live up to what we've done? You know, that's all in there. So you can kind of understand that these are just dudes that are whacked out, and so the record sounds whacked out. It's really, it's pretty. It's like a pretty. I think that the attitude and the sounds and everything kind of capture where Metallica's head was.
The emotions were
at
there,
that time.
for sure.
So I think it's an honest record. I think it might be their most honest record, and I think that sometimes, you know, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's a so you have angry sounds, and the guitar sounds on here are much more like, I mean, they're in doom metal territory. There's elements of grunge, there's elements of gent. So, you know, they had their ear to the ground. They were listening to music like the rest of us were, and I don't really fault them for that. You think about this, all the stuff, the different eras the Stones went through. You know, the Stones started out, you know, as this kind of, you know, blues rock thing, and, you know, and before they do like, you know, they dabble in new wave with, you know, Shattered. They dabble in disco,
right?
You know, with Miss You and Emotional Rescue.
Yep.
You know, so they weren't afraid to chase a couple trends and dip their toe into stuff like that, and it sounded good. Big songs from it. I don't think they should be faulted for that. And even like Kevin and I's, like one of our favorite bands, Rush. You listen to how they evolved over time. I mean, they did all kind of things. So, you know, musicians just want to do that. So they had their ear to the ground, and they were listening to different stuff. They were influenced by different stuff, and it shows up. And in this conversation that they were having about the guitar solos, one of the comments that Lars Ulrich makes is that, you know, well, you know, when I think of guitar solo, it just sounds so like 1980s. Like it sounds so like seems so dated and stuff like that. And here is Kirk Hammett's retort. And he said it without missing a beat, and he made a good point. He's like, yeah, he says, but if we like intentionally, like just don't put guitar solos in, then that dates this record to this time in history.
Legit, yeah.
So I was like, ooh, touche, my friend.
Snap.
And so he was like, oh, contraire, mon frère. That would have been great if he would actually said that, but he did not say that. That would have been awesome. But he did have that great comeback. However, no, there aren't really any guitars. There's a lot of crazy riffs though, and I think what they leave out in guitar solos, they make up for to some extent with the kind of use of these like polyrhythmic things with the guitar. The riffs are insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really cool, really cool. Not in a Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets type way. They're cool in a like, wow, Metallica is taking it in a different direction way. It wasn't their typical. It is not your typical metal sound. So like, it's understandable why typical Metallica fans would hate it, right?
Keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind.
I have an idea. How about you just listen to it and form your own opinion?
Just go back and give it a listen and see what you think. Now I want to talk about something, and I'm gonna turn the background music off while we talk about this.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So drums.
Oh boy.
Everyone who posted said that they didn't like the drum sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say okay because I don't know every single person, but every person that I saw, I know for a fact is a musician.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair.
So they have preconceived ideas about certain things. This is one of the reasons why the very first electric guitar that was ever made is still one of the biggest selling guitars, 100 years later. Because guitar players, most musicians have their heads like stuck in tradition. They get in these things and they can't get out of it. That's why Fender and Gibson to this day are still at the top of the shit for guitars and stuff like that. Musicians, they got like it in their head that this is how something should be, or this is how something should sound, or this is how we've always done it. Mm-hmm. And for people that are supposed to be really open-minded and forward-thinking and trying to do new shit, they really sound like Southern Baptist conservatives at times when they start on this crap about what it should be, it should be this, it should be that, it shouldn't do this, it should do that. As a musician myself, a producer, I find the drum sound on most metal albums to really be lacking. I don't know why the bass drum has to sound like a click. It's like, but there's no like, it sounds like if I was finger tapping.
Right.
Yeah, that's the snare. That's the bass drum sound. Come on, that's not what a bass drum sound. You've been in a room with a fucking drum set? I bet you ain't. This is why you go like, I want to do a couple of things. First of all, there is another snare drum that sounds very suspiciously similar.
Yes.
Similar to the snare drum sound on Saint Elsewhere.
Saint Elsewhere.
On Saint Elsewhere.
St.
So
Elmo's
let's
Fire?
listen to take a second here. I think I have it queued up right. If you hear some talking, just ignore it. This is the Saint Anger snare drum sound. Let's go back. We need a little bit more of it than that. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a drum sound on a really, 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 really famous album from 1984.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Both have a very the Saint Anger sound is pitched up a little bit higher, but it still has that ring. There's like, and the other one is a little bit more muffled, but there's still a lot. There's like there's a note.
Right.
I don't know what that is. Is that I don't know what.
I don't have my.
If you guys, there's a great video. The drum sound I'm referring to is Alex Van Halen's drum sound on 1984. Yep. Okay, which has this ping, 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 very similar to the Saint Anger thing. Now the Saint Anger thing sounds more angry. It's pitched up a little bit higher. But I argue that if you stand in a room with a drum, there aren't a lot of records that really capture that experience. I think that Lars' snare drum sound on Saint Anger sounds like a drum in the room.
Okay.
I think to me, just to my ears, or the closest thing that you can hear. Most of the time, the snare drum and the bass drum, actually all the drums are really processed when they're recorded. They're real once the engineer gets in there, they do a lot. There's a lot of tricks and everything to make it sound like you hear it on the radio. Also, microphones and things like that don't really capture the drums, in my opinion. Like, they just never quite, just isn't the same experience. All I can tell you is, if you got a neighbor kid that plays the drums, go over to the house and hang out for a few minutes and listen to it play. That's what a drum set sounds like. Okay, so in my opinion, Lars' sound on Saint Anger, that snare sounds a lot. It's a really good approximation of what a snare drum would sound like if you were in the room with one. I happen to have a snare drum right here.
You all right, Lil?
No, I just peed my pants.
Okay, did you hear that? It has a ring to it and everything. I don't even know if that came across.
You scared Lily half.
Sorry.
You should warn her,
Well, you saw me picking up a drum
I didn't know it was going to be that loud. I'm sorry.
See?
See?
That's what
It's
we're
a real
talking
experience.
about.
It's a real experience. You feel it.
Wait till I play the bass drum a little bit later,
Great.
Billy. Oh boy.
So you feel it. All right. So it's so drums aren't meant to be polite.
No.
That was
I
not.
think we have this thing going on with the way drums are mixed in a lot of popular music, where they're really, really controlled and reined in and compressed and all kind of stuff, stretched out, flattened, smashed, squished, squashed, all kind of stuff. By the time you're done, it doesn't really sound like a drum. Do we have any comments? I might have some up here. I'm going to take a look at my thing. I feel like I'm just going and going and going.
Well, you're absolutely right, because playing that snare just now, you can hear that ring.
Yep.
Yeah, Lily.
Chris Lloyd says, I like the album, was heavy. There wasn't any studio magic going on with the recording of it. The rest of it I've already read. Tom Johnson says, we don't need no stinking shrinks. LOL.
Yeah.
And then there was a comment on the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Who moved my cheese?
It's a great book. Read it.
I will move your cheese. It moved my cheese.
What kind of cheese?
I think I just cheesed in my pants from the drum.
I went out for falafel last night, and in the
Literally, I was
morning,
like a cat.
I know.
and in the morning, I moved my cheese. My cheese was moved with compassion.
I'll bet.
I want to tell you about cheeses. I love cheeses.
Your face when you said that
Yes.
was ridiculous.
Cheeses.
Oh, Jesus!
All kind of cheeses. Swiss, Gouda, Asiago. I love cheeses.
Oh boy.
All right, back to the show.
Do you like focaccia?
Excuse me?
Isn't there a kind of cheese called?
Focaccia.
Yeah.
Focaccia's a bread.
Okay.
Like a
There is
dough.
a cheese on it, isn't there? Don't they usually do it? No, that's the Asiago.
No, that's Famunda
that's
cheese.
That's not for you
That's
put
the Asiago
Asiago
bread
on.
that they have the cheese
Welcome
on.
to Cooking with Ludini.
Ludini and the toilet men. The toilet people.
Oh, they spelled focaccia right on the thing here.
Nice, that's tough. I make it, I can't spell it.
Fukaki. I used to think it was fukaki. I say all kind of stuff. But then again, I can't read and I can't talk.
But that's,
So
You've been doing
this
this
is
today.
but this is what I do.
again.
No, please.
No.
It was no. I was so not prepared for that.
Prepare, yay! We're taking our time getting to the tracks because I couldn't name every track and could tell you this and that about every track. So we're going to do that quickly here in a couple of minutes. It was a couple of things I wanted to touch on.
What do you want to touch?
Oh, there's some harmonies.
yeah,
I
we
think
noticed
really
that
cool.
as we were listening. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. Some people were trying to say, well, they're borrowing from Alice in Chains or whatever. It was moments where I heard a little Alice in Chains creep in, maybe a little Tool in a couple places too.
Allison Tool.
Alice and Tool. Tool and Chains is anyways. Yeah. So very raw, very in your face. That's the way I like my rock and roll. Oh, the one last thing I do want to mention about the sort of production, as Lily goes through the songs, but a couple of things may come up. I'm not promising I won't interrupt. But
Surprise!
there's a really interesting scene in the film where Jason makes overtures that he wants to come back to the band, and he and they have a conversation about it, like a very kind of frank conversation, and they're thinking about it, like because now James is sober, and they're thinking, well, maybe this is a good idea. They were a little upset or a little freaked out because his band had put out a record and it was getting well received, and so in any case, Bob Rock chimes in with this.
Oh boy.
He says, Cliff Burton will always be your bass player. Like, and he says he just sort of felt that Jason was always an outsider. And then you kind of look at what they ended up doing. They got Treyu in there, and he's a paid player.
Hired gun.
Yeah, hired gun, just like Daryl Jones in the Rolling Stones. And that's fine. But he's what Bob Rock was saying was that, like, after he left, it was really the three of them that were really the core, like the heart and soul, of what Metallica was. That, like, nobody was really gonna fill that. And Bob Rock plays bass on the record. It's not the kind of bass playing that, like, needs to be brilliant. You don't need to play. It's not like you need to be Geddy Lee or anything like that. He locks in with Lars, and they make it work. But I just thought that was a kind of interesting thing, because they're still, at that point, we're still mourning Cliff Burton. They were talking about how they were really pissed off that he died and how shitty that was. So let's go ahead and talk about the tracks.
Okay. Frantic, second single, opening track. Like many other songs on the album, this is about the band's past struggles with addictions, particularly lead singer James Hetfield's alcohol problem. The lyrics sort of draw from, like, a Zen concept, most notably the Buddhist concept. Birth is pain, life is pain, death is pain. It's all the same. The video featured a shortened version of the song, depicts a man looking back at his life in which he's constantly drinking, having sex, and smoking. I don't see the problem, but that's fine. At that instant, he crashes his rotisserie delivery pickup truck into an RV at an intersection. And then they, of course, have, like, clips of the band playing in front of scrap metal and rocks and blah, blah, blah. And even though the man's truck is upside down, he finds himself still alive and laughs loudly until a car crashes into the side of the truck, tipping it over and presumably killing him. The video was shot in Montreal, Canada, and that is the info I have on that song.
Wow. Okay. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Frantic. It's frantic. It's frantic. That's aptly titled. Is that the track that has the line, "My lifestyle determines my death style"?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then.
That's in the film too when he writes that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's like, and they're all like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lawn ticket seat person at a metal festival out at Star Lake, drinking a Budweiser Logic, what I
Yeah.
mean?
But that's just it. Like in the documentary, he came up with that, and I'm like, well, that's shit. But when you listen to the finished product in the song, in the context, I'm like, oh,
the delivery.
Then you get it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, this is just like what, and I've done this, and I should make this. I think what we should do is we should create a segment called Lyrics with Ludini, because people like this when I read song lyrics. But that is why when I would do that, how silly
Right.
a lot of rock lyrics sound.
But it's so great.
But it's in the delivery that makes them not sound so
Exactly.
so silly.
Yeah.
But so what do you got?
Saint Anger, lead single from the album, won Best Metal Performance at the 46 Grammys. nominated for Best Rock Video at the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards, but lost to Somewhere I Belong by Linkin Park.
Oh, see?
I know, me too. The song provided the theme for WWE SummerSlam 2003. Music video was also included in the pay-per-view DVD. The lyric, fuck it all and fucking no regrets, I hit the lights on these dark sets, may be a reference to 2 other Metallica songs, Damage Inc. and Hit the Lights. The St. Anger video, directed by the Malloys, was shot in San Quentin State Prison, California. The band played at various locations in the area to hundreds of enthusiastic inmates, except for the death chambers and the death row cells. It also it is also the first Metallica video to feature bassist Robert Trujillo, who joined just prior to filming. It is also the 2003 Metal Edge Reader's Choice Award for the Video of the Year.
There.
This song is 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah. No, they have some long ones on here.
Yes, there's several long, and this was one of the things that I had in my notes too, and I'm glad, like I said, more stuff would come up. This is a return to those like longer types of things, kind of like they were doing on Injustice for All. They're doing some of that here with, and I think this is what's so cool. They're doing some of that. They're doing some of that here without retreading that territory. You understand what I'm saying? Like the riffs are like a kind of in a different style and stuff. It's not like them doing going back to that exactly. It's like they kind of did the same thing but different. if that's a way of putting it. I thought it was insanely clever, and there's several songs on here that are in that 7-8 minute range. And that's none of the songs are actually short. This also leads me to a criticism of the record. It is too fucking long.
Yeah, it's over an hour.
It's 74 minutes.
Yeah, when we pulled it up, it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's 74 minutes, and it makes it very hard to review. First of all, Metallica obviously didn't give a fuck about that. But
Yeah, that's what they were thinking about.
what's funny is there's a scene in the movie where they let the press in to come listen to the album. you know?
Right.
Oh boy.
And they're sitting there, and like at first they're digging it, but as it's dragging on and on and on, they're kind of like
2
looking
days
around.
later.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's funny. Yeah, that's an issue I think with the record. Is it's just too fucking long. There's 2 records here. Now I don't know how you would do that, because then you wouldn't have as many. I don't know, man. That would have been a kind of a cool thing to do too. Because,
split it up.
Yeah, to split it up, like put out a couple different records, like maybe save that stuff for like some special edition. I don't know, but there were records in the 70s with very, very long songs on them. So there weren't a lot of songs on it. And one record that comes to my mind is an album by Dire Straits called Love Over Gold.
Yeah.
Which I think has like 4 or 5 songs on it. But it's a full-length LP, because the songs are just really long. They're like these epic tracks. So that would have been a kind of interesting direction for them to take. I'm just blathering on, but yeah, it's a long record. What do you got? What's next?
Some Kind of Monster, released as a single in 2004. It was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance in 2005, but lost to Velvet Revolver for the song Slither.
I like that song too.
I do too. The name Some Kind of Monster came from vocalist guitarist James Hetfield describing the lyrics to producer Bob Rock being about a Frankenstein creature or some kind of monster. Thus, it was also used as the title for the documentary, as we all know. We don't need to go over that again. And it was the first single. It was shortened considerably, and it's a long one, isn't it? Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was shortened considerably. The video contains old footage of Metallica concerts, as well as performance of the song in Metallica's San Francisco headquarters, which is included in the entirety on the St. Anger DVD. In some regions, such as the US, the EP was bundled with a t-shirt featuring the artwork. And during the clean intro, Lars Ulrich's snare drum can be heard rattling in the background. Just had to add that in there.
Add it in. This song, as Metallica songs go on St. Anger, they seem to be getting longer. The first song, Frantic, is 5 minutes and 50 seconds, almost 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
The second song, St. Anger, is 7 minutes and 20 seconds, and Some Kind of Monster, 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
And it was cut
Yeah.
from what? I want to know. Didn't say that.
This is also the first record where like everybody brought wrote lyrics. Everybody wrote everything. They all like wrote completely, they all just worked. They came in with like nothing and they put it together there. Very interesting too. These songs were just born out of jams, and then they would go back and listen to the jams and say, okay, slice that, put that over here. With the technology today, it's like very easy to do, and that's how they sort of arranged. That's how they came up with songs. Very interesting. Next,
Dirty Window, about hypocrisy and the distortions of ego. In the song, Hetfield can't see the dirtiness of his own house, but is ready to condemn everything that's wrong with the world outside. The dirty window metaphor is reminiscent of the old saying, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, meaning you shouldn't go around condemning people for things you are guilty of. That's all I have.
Rockin' Ricky
Oh.
from Reed City, Michigan. What's
I
up?
didn't get that one.
What was that? James and Lars having their ear to the
That's from
ground.
Michael Gold.
Okay.
He just
Are you being a wiener, Michael? Michael, no. Okay. Dirty Window. I thought it was like a sexual thing.
You would.
Dirty.
You've got a dirty window, if you know what I mean.
Oh my God.
Somebody ought to take her ass back and clean her windows. You need a good window cleaning, young lady.
Oh my God.
Oh, let me take you home and clean your windows.
Squeegee. Let me get my squeegee out. Anyway.
I got a whole nozzle full of Windex right here for you.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Wow. Sorry.
Isn't that crazy?
Just a little.
Just a little
What
naughty.
are we doing, man?
You don't even
What
know.
are we doing?
I don't even know. what
We're on
doing.
another song. Would you like me to read the next one?
I was going to. I wanted to say something about this song.
Well, you did.
Yeah, you did. Frightened all of us.
I just was going to say this is. I dug the jam, but go ahead.
Invisible Kid, about a kid who's withdrawn from the world and hidden inside himself. He floats alone in his room with his
Not
feelings.
an invisible kid, Lily.
Oh my God. He has apathy and angst. No one knows or cares about the pain and fear he carries inside. At least that's how he feels to the kid. This was completely emotional, obviously. James was crying inside. It is one of Metallica's least liked songs.
It's not nice.
In message boards across the internet, it gets a lot of hate from the band's hardcore fans. Criticisms are geared towards both the music and the lyrics, but the words seem to get the most scorn. Part of the problem might be that the song is more overly sensitive than what Metallica fans expect.
I don't like that.
We don't like people being sad.
No.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah. Move on.
My World. Metallica has never called Saint Anger a concept album, but that's the way My World flows out of the Invisible Kid song, which we just talked about. This makes it seem that way. I don't even know what to say about this other than the difference between the two songs is that the Invisible Kid, other people have sealed the kid off from the world and driven him into isolation. In My World, he's trying to fight people off from getting inside his head. So it concepts with two songs.
This next song, "Shoot Me Again."
Yeah.
As you can see on my YouTube here that I have big thumbs up on this
you
song
like
and
that
the
one?
next song. Yeah, I think this song is badass. What's the lyrics? Shoot me again because I ain't dead yet.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Ins-
Go ahead.
Inspired by Metallica's dispute with Napster, saying that no matter what shots are thrown at them, they won't fall down dead. Sean Parker and Sean Fanning, it launched Napster in 1999. The software allowed people to we know what this does. I don't need to read all that. The service faced a major legal challenge when the demo of Metallica's I Disappear appeared on the network before the band intended it for it to be released. Metallica filed a lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. And Metallica won the case, forcing Napster to take all the copyrighted Metallica music off the system. They dealt with a lot of controversy over the issue, including from some of their own fans who thought their music should be free to share. Metallica became the most vocal critic of Napster, insisting that file sharing was simply theft, abetting by the service. The band never played this song live. Can't imagine why. But we all know streaming works. Should have just came up with a better concept.
Well, we might as well get into this.
on.
Oh, gee, here we go there.
Because, well, you know, it's easy to criticize them now.
Yeah.
I see it from their point of view.
Sure.
You know, they were probably going like, you know, these were guys that struggled they ate bologna on hand, as Scott Ian said. And they couldn't afford bread, so they ate bologna on hand. So, they didn't want to lose any money. They thought like, here's, and there's the history of the music industry, ripping off the artist. There's that whole history there, pedigree.
I would have just bought Napster as Metallica and be like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I think that is very progressive of you, Lily V6.
Wow.
That is. But
I feel like you're being sarcastic.
I don't think I think people were blind. No, I think you're right. I think the people, they were just sort of blindsided by it.
Yeah.
They were big rock stars. Somebody was ripping off their music. That's how they thought. I don't think that they completely even understood the technology,
the concept,
what was going on, and they were definitely were not forward thinking at all. That was the younger generation who was forward thinking. The kids that grew up listening to them, who are now, in their late teens and early 20s, maybe in their mid 20s, and we're doing computer shit.
Computer shit.
We're in our 40s now, just saying.
So
you're in your 40s.
Well, the kids who came up with
okay.
are in our 40s.
So Metallica had they were a typical stupid musician response.
Jump to conclusion.
Jump right to the conclusion. Shoot first, ask questions later. But that's why we love rock stars, right? That's part of their charm. They shoot first, ask questions later, and they end up making movies like The Dirt about it.
Hey, that could have gone so much better.
But we love that about it. Those are the things we love. That's one of the things that make rock dirty and nasty and screwed up again. That's what it needs. But in any case, I'm off the pedestal there. But there's another side to it. And we have the hindsight is 2020. I think if you would get them alone, not being filmed, whatever, I think that they would say, you're right, we were short-sighted, but like, how is that even our fault? Right. And it isn't. Right. So the point is moot. To be mad at them about that at this point is like, it's senseless.
People are.
And you have to, and you gotta look at for fans, man. Like, here's your favorite band, and now they're coming on TV saying they're gonna like have the government come after you.
Right.
How anti rock and roll is that?
Yeah.
What rock and roller sicks the government on their own fucking fans? That's how Metallica fans saw that.
Yes.
They felt really fucking betrayed. First, Metallica puts out this shitty album. It doesn't even sound like metal. Sounds like a fucking Madonna record.
Here we go.
Enter Sandman. Might as well be Enter Like a Virgin.
That's dirty.
Enter Like a Virgin. That'll be the...
the new mix match video.
New mashup.
New mashup.
New mashup. Like a Virgin and Enter Sandman. Oh, wow. Somebody make that.
Yep,
Somebody at
there you
home
go.
who's good with
That's your
computers.
homework.
Some young person.
Yes.
Someone under 40.
But, and that's... So they were already irked at Metallica because, they sold out. And now, not only did Metallica sell out, they're going to sell you out to the federal fucking government.
I mean, I can see why people got angry.
Of course, it was
Little.
bullshit.
Just a little angry.
I was like, fuck you, motherfuckers. You guys are assholes. I thought the
He's getting
Metallica
fired
were the,
up now.
When
I
Hetfield
thought they
comes
were
to
the biggest
door and
pricks
kicks
that-
his ass. I'm buying him a beer.
Okay.
I thought that they were the biggest pricks that ever walked the planet. But
him down
I
the
was in my mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid 50s now. I don't
What?
think that at all about
You're
them.
old.
Like I said, you're going along doing the best you can with the knowledge you have and the understanding you have, and that's all Metallica was really doing. But they did do something very inadvertently terrible. It's like the story. There's like stories in mythology, right, where somebody does this one thing, and it fucks everything up for like the Adam and Eve with the you know what I mean? Pandora's box. There's all these stories where somebody lets the dogs out,
Screwed the
and then
pooch.
then we're screwed forever, right?
Yep. It's
And
going.
I kind of see Metallica. as that thing, because I think had they done what Lily said, bought Napster, or partnered with Napster somehow,
Right.
or said, "What are you guys doing? This is really interesting. Like, how could we leverage this?" I think that we would be looking at something completely different now with music. I think we'd have rock stars still. I think we would have a really cool thing going on, a real synergy with music and the internet, not a fucking competition. But it did not go that way. And so this led to the decline of rock music as pop. You know what I mean? Like, there was always, like, on the pop charts, right? There was always, like,
there's
rock
always some kind
bands
of
that would
heavy
get on, like,
or
you know,
hard rock,
heavier,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? These guys weren't like Metallica. They got on the charts. That's a good example. You know, there were pop artists that were out at that time. You know, whoever my Tony Braxton or whatever, you know, and all that. And then there's Enter Sandman.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right?
It's like,
Yeah.
so there was always that, but there isn't that anymore. And I think that this is one of the things that led that got that ball rolling. So what do you got? What's the next, Lily?
Sweet Amber. On the surface, the song is about a girl and her dangerously addictive personality. In addition to being a girl's name, Amber is also the color of many beers, leading many
It's
listeners.
also an alert.
Oh.
It is. You're
That's
correct.
right, very good.
Leading many listeners to determine that the song deals with James Hetfield's past addiction to alcohol, specifically beer. Exactly. But contrary to the popular belief, the song's lyrics don't deal with Hetfield's addictions, at least not intentionally. According to the book, This Monster Lives, this inside story of some kind of monster. It was written in the spur of the moment after Metallica's label forced them to record commercials for their sponsors, hinting that they had to do it if they were to remain on good terms with the label. Only played once, live, in Lubbock, Texas, on September 4th, 2004.
Huh.
I know, right? I don't know why I'm reading that stuff.
This song is also I'm glad that you're I'm glad because I couldn't find like a succinct thing. What did you do? Did you like research all week or something?
Don't tell him, Lily. Job security.
I just know everything.
Okay.
Duh.
This song also on my playlist has a big thumbs up next to it. I dug these two
I
songs.
do like that.
By the way, "Shoot Me Again" is 7 minutes, 9 seconds, and "Sweet Amber" is
Goes
five.
back
It goes back to 5:26.
Slow
The slowest song on the album, the shortest song on the album is 5 minutes and 13 seconds. So like there
Still
is
all long songs.
Yes, they're all
They're not
long.
punk.
They're all long. The Unnamed Feeling.
Third single from the album song is about an unnamed feeling, which according to James Hetfield
Hence the name.
is anxiety, which I feel this a lot, so I
Yeah.
understand. A person feels when they are close to the edge of losing control just before he or she panics. Along with a music video, the song was released as a single exclusively to Australia. It was released as a part of an EP in the UK. The unique video, directed by the Malloys, I don't know, I need to look up these Malloys, featured the band performing in a virtually empty room that gradually closed in on them throughout the song. This was accompanied by visual stories of several people all experiencing the unnamed feeling in their own way. Interesting.
Fascinating, Captain.
The Unnamed Feeling.
Anxiety.
I don't really have anything else to say.
Okay.
No? No?
Next.
Okay. Purify. One of the more opaque songs on the album, the key to
This
it
is the shortest song of the album, by the way.
the key may lie in the circumstances surrounding the making of Saint Anger. Newsted leaving and Hetfield's rehab stint and the Napster thing. On top of that, the band was frustrated with their label's continued pressure to do promotional work, as documented in the song Sweet Amber. Basically, things were a mess. Purify seems to be Hetfield saying he wants to be cleaned of the past and of himself while acknowledging his own tendency to pessimism. About reaching out to people to help you and about all the past mistakes and sins that you wish you could get rid of. And the song has never been played live.
Okay. So, James Hetfield.
Oh, that guy.
Man. It's like he goes to rehab and comes back, and you're like, dude, you really should start drinking again.
Yeah, right?
Wow. what? He turns into a fucking prima
Some kind of
donna.
monster.
He does.
Yeah,
Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Gee
Maybe
whiz,
he
you
needs to get
know.
Sweet Amber to help that
I'm
out.
only working between 12 and 4. And they were like, okay. And then
But don't do anything after
yeah,
I leave.
yeah. So like he was like, and then they were like, he was pissed because Lars and Bob Rock had listened to something.
Right.
What do you mean you listened to something? Was I there? And Lars says, yeah, you were there. And he goes, I wasn't there. Lars just lied up to like, smooth the thing
Pour
over,
over on you.
hoping James would forget. Yeah, I wasn't. No, he wasn't there. And so, oh man, all this thing, and he gets mad. He jumps on a motorcycle and speeds away. Doesn't wear a fucking helmet. I mean, like, you know, it's
Glad
like
you're concerned about his safety.
real prima donna. Yeah, I just something
Houdini's
stupid. I know.
way.
But it's like real. But again, but now let's kind of take a step back and reframe that for a second. This is a guy that just got out of fucking rehab.
Right.
Like just got out of rehab. A drinking problem that he's had for, 40 years or 30 years or something like that. Some crazy long thing. And he's probably barely keeping his shit together. So like he's probably thinking that anything that deviates, like what he's afraid, what I think is going on with him is I think he's afraid he's going to get triggered because
Relapse.
and then he's going to go out and start drinking. So I think that's why he didn't want them listening to anything. And it's funny in the movie. It's just really like, it's like, oh God, here we go. You're that guy. And you mentioned Jason Newsted. Add one more thing about the movie is that he's not right.
No?
I know.
No?
There's something off about him.
Yeah.
You can just kind of tell he's
Is he Looney Tunes?
he's off the charts or on the spectrum or whatever they say. He's
Even
got
in the,
something. He's like, there's
Yeah.
something like when you look at him, man. There's just like he's gonna snap at any moment and just like murder everybody.
Well, even in the documentary Hired Gun, there's something you're like, because they interview him and you're like,
There's a
He's got
thing
something
on
going.
there.
There's a thing going on.
hey now.
Yeah, the and I don't think it's. You could blame it on Metallica. You could say
Yeah.
they did something to him. Well, he gave that as a reason why he left the band, but he said. But then there was an interview where he says that James Hetfield wanted him out because he was going to go do his own band. He was going to do like a side project because Metallica hadn't done anything in like 5 years or something. He said that. So who knows? These guys. So last song, right?
Yep, All Within My Hands. About bassist Jason Newsted's 2001 departure from Metallica. Newsted told the band he wanted them to all take a year off so they could all work on solo projects, which were. I'm glad we segued into this. He wanted time to develop a metal band named Echo Brain. The other members voted against his proposal, so Newsted quit. James Hetfield was the primary source of resistance to Newsted's proposal. He thought he was only looking out for the best interests of Metallica. But as the time passed, he came to see himself as overly controlling and authoritarian. It is the last track on the album, and the longest at 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Okay.
Bless you, my son.
Thank you very
Bless
much.
you.
Thank you very much.
In February 2017, Metallica announced the beginning of their All Within My Hands charitable foundation. Through the foundation, they distribute scholarships to Metallica scholars. I'm not sure what that means. Fund food bags and other good deeds like helping the first responders and supporting organizations combating wildfires, which we have talked about on the show before. They have played the song a handful of times in concert, memorably with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra in September of 2019. The live version was released as a single from the album S&M 2 on July 15th, 2020. On September 5th, 2020, the hit #1 on Billboard's mainstream rock songs chart, making Metallica the only band ever to have a #1 on that chart in 4 different decades.
Huh.
Finn.
Go Metallica. For all you naysayers out there, I wish you guys that loved Metallica would talk a little bit more. It seems like their naysayers are so loud. They got like,
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
People
love
to hate them.
Oh my God, It's crazy. This is the longest song on the album. It's almost 9 minutes. I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost 9 minutes. That's some crazy shit. Speaking of, people leaving the band and, because of James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine makes an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at this time in his life, he was a whiny bitch.
Wasn't he always?
He was really like,
You hurt my
You
feelings.
can't even talk about it.
it's
That's
too
how
much.
it is.
It's like, it's just like, it's too much. It's like, dude, like, why they? Well, okay, if you haven't ever seen the movie, part of the film, part of the documentary is they bring a psychiatrist, a psychologist or counselor or coach or somebody like that. This guy works with athletes that are, trying to integrate, like on like million and multi-million dollar sports teams, those type of athletes, trying to integrate them into the new team and stuff like that, and work out issues, like in a group therapy kind of way. So like. There's all this group therapy that's going on in there, and that is what the sort of like backdrop to this is. And so I guess he felt that having Mustaine come in and try to see if they could clear the air with him, they don't clear any air at all. It goes absolutely nowhere because Lars, like the whole time, is like he could tell he's just checked out. He's like,
Yeah.
and Dave Mustaine's like, he's upset. He's all intense about it, but so there's Newstead and Mustaine kind of like are sort of floating around in this situation too. There's also a really, like a kind of like a humbling moment. Like these guys are like the biggest rock band on the planet, right? Them and you at that time, them and maybe U2, were probably the biggest, state could play like multiple nights at Wembley, back at like, those are like, those two guys were like that. But there's a scene like then James is at rehab and they're wondering when he's going to come back. They end up losing the lease on the space that they had and everything.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Echo Brain, Jason's band, gets up and they get this really, it's not in a big stadium or anything. It's in like a big rock club, but it's all packed. And these guys, so Lars and Kirk go with, I think it's Bob Rock go with them.
I think so.
They go to see Jason's band, and Lars is like, "This sucks, man. We're the biggest band in the world, and we're nowhere now. I'm not even in a band." It was like all getting jacked up, man. It was typical. If you're a musician and you played in bands, it's like, it was almost like. That type of stuff kind of made me wonder if like we were being Spinal Tapped.
Yeah.
Like
I'm like,
and I don't know if Metallica's ever said this, that they came out and that it was they were spoofing themselves. That would have been kind of brilliant, quite frankly.
exactly.
But
right?
some of
Then
it,
you
like
would've been
scenes like that, scenes like that are kind of like Spinal Tap moments. It's kind of like when Spinal Tap, like they're getting
gotta
canceled here,
see-
getting canceled there. It's like
Right.
it was very like Spinal Tap-ish. It would have been hilarious. It was just a green globule on his drum seat.
Totally messed with you with this documentary. Psych.
Yeah. So that's it. I quit Fort Pitt.
There it
Go
is.
listen to Saint Anger or don't. I don't give a shit.
You're a poet.
It ain't my record. Yeah. So let's talk about this day in music. Yeah. And we need a This Day in Music theme song. So I got to come up with that.
I'm working.
I'm working on it.
I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, let me do This Day in Music.
I wonder
Where is my thing?
Beatles
No.
did it.
Oh my
You
god.
know they did.
The Beatles don't do anything.
They were lazy cusses.
Did you say cuss?
They were lazy cusses.
That's funny.
Thanks.
If they didn't do
That's
anything,
oldie timey. Oldie timey words.
Old timey. On this day in 1963,
Okay.
Cliff Richard and the Shadows were at number one on the UK singles chart with Summer Holiday. Taken from the film of the same name, it became Richard's seventh UK number one single. Cliff Richard,
Rich
not
Clifford.
to be confused with Rich Clifford. was a massive rock star in England. He was on par with Elvis.
Yeah.
In England. He was
Yeah.
huge. And we know him in America mainly from Daddy's Home, and It's So Funny.
Oh, okay. I know the one song. I
Daddy's
know that song.
home, Daddy's home to stay.
I
It's like a
know.
doo-wop
I
song
know that one.
from like the early 60s.
It was in the movie Look Who's Talking.
Okay.
And then remember, It's So Funny. It's so funny.
I don't know that one.
Talk. It's 1980, 1979, something like that. Oh my goodness.
Oh, they
Yes.
did.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
For the first time in British recording history, all top 10 singles in the UK were by British acts. Number 1 was Anyone Who Had a Heart by Cilla Black. Number 2 was Bits and Pieces, Boy to Dave Clark 5. Little Children by Billy J. Kramer, Diane by The Bachelors, and Not Fade Away by the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
Number 6, Just Lookin' by the Hollies. Number 7, Needles and Pins by the Searchers. Remember that song, Needles and Pins by the Searchers? A good song. I Think of You by the Mercy Beats. Boys Cry by Eden Kane. And number 10 was Let Me Go Lover by Kathy Kirby. All British.
Wow.
It's the first time ever.
Invasion
Yeah.
of some sort.
They invaded themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
1968, the promotional film for the Beatles, Lady Madonna, was broadcast in black and white on Top of the Pops on UK. Top of the Pops, for you folks that don't know, was kind of like American Bandstand,
Yes.
but in England for British kids. The video portion of the film clip was shot while the group were performing the song Hey Bulldog, but the Lady Madonna audio track was paired with the video for the promo release. Interesting. I don't know. Oh, ABBA. Who doesn't love ABBA, right?
ABBA. What
ABBA
did they do?
released Ring Ring, the title track of their debut album. Gave the group their first appearance on the UK singles chart, where it peaked at number 32 and became their first Swedish number 1, first Australian top 10 hit.
That.
Okay. Oh, who here doesn't like Debbie Harry?
I love Debbie Harry.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Blondie, they were at number 2 on the UK chart with their version of the Randy and Rainbow song, Dennis.
What?
I don't know the song.
Sorry. Sorry, Deb.
It's cool though.
Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights was number 1. Eric Clapton was hospitalized with bleeding ulcers.
Ow.
Wow, the things you learn on the Ludini Rock and Roll
Ow.
Circus
Bleeding.
podcast. Go to LudiniRockandRollCircus.com or LouLombardiMusic.com.
Speaking of,
So this caused the tour to have to be canceled. He was back in the hospital 5 weeks later after being involved in a car crash.
Wow.
And speaking of the boys, Metallica in 1982 made their live debut when they appeared at Radio City in Anaheim, California. Metallica performed in Los Angeles, California in late 81 with Danish-born drummer Lars Ulrich. Placed an advertisement in a Los Angeles newspaper, The Recycler, which read, "Drummer looking for other metal musicians to jam with, Tigers of Pantang, Diamond Head, and Iron Maiden." Guitarist Hetfield and Hugh Tanner of Leather Charm answered the advertisement. And the rest, as they say, was history.
That's right.
rock and roll history, old metal history.
Speaking of bands that were rock bands but got on pop radio very easily, John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, Alec John Such formed Bon Jovi on this day in 1983. Their fourth album, New Jersey, released in 88. Notable for producing Billboard 100 hits, top 10 singles, most top 10 hits to date from a hard rock album.
Hey,
Straw.
one of the three of us, apparently not a big fan.
He knows who it is. He knows I don't like Bon Jovi.
He's probably not a big fan.
It's okay.
Why don't you just run away?
What when I tell you the song by Dead or Alive, "You Spin Me Round Like a Record"?
Yes.
What does it make you think of?
Wedding singer?
The Wedding Singer.
Oh, okay.
They were kicked off UK music television,
Wow.
the Tube, after admitting they were incapable of playing live.
That's hysterical.
Well,
On this day in 1985.
at least they admit it.
Yeah, they didn't play the Manili Vanilli card.
I was gonna say.
What's the other girl? Ashley Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ashley.
Speaking of, well, I better not say that.
Okay. Don't
Boy George
Careful.
scored his first number one single as a solo artist with the David Gates song "Everything I Own," originally recorded by Gates' band Bread for their '72 album "Baby, I'ma Want You." The song was a UK number one hit for Ken Booth in '74 as well.
Baby, I need you.
1991. It's a big year for music.
Yeah.
REM played their first 2 nights at London's Borderline Club under the name Bingo Hand Job.
That's great. That makes our whole life.
The group were in the UK promoting their 7th studio album, Out of Time, and their current single, Losing My Religion. This was huge. Not everything that was big in the 90s was grunge.
Yeah.
And this is an example. They had giant hits in the 90s.
Legit.
Oh, in 1995, Tupac Shakur
Oh, for fuck's sake.
became the
Tupac. Just say
first
Tupac.
You are so white.
Tupac Shakur.
Oh, boy. That's when they call him Tupac Shaker.
Tupac Shaker.
I hate that so much.
Tupac Shaker. Became the first. I'm sorry.
Just say Tupac.
Such a honky.
Tupac became the first male solo artist to have a number one album on the Billboard chart while
Yes.
in prison.
Yes.
Hey, there you go.
Correct.
That's talent. That's talent right there, brother.
Oh my goodness! I think we're kind of done with this. Let's
Let's go.
He's
go
had
to
enough of
birthday.
that.
We've had enough
There's
of
not
that.
that many birthdays. Holy crap.
Quincy Jones.
Yay.
There you go.
Wow. 33.
Rashida Jones' dad.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
And Peggy
He
Lee.
does good work. They do
Woman.
good work. I'm just saying.
Hey, do good
In
work.
case
You
she's
want-
listening tonight. Hey, do good work.
Michael Martin Murphey, American singer-songwriter, his 1990 album Cowboy Songs became the first album of cowboy music to achieve gold status since Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs by Marty Robbins in 1959.
Wow.
Sure.
Oh, my Lord. Wow.
There's not that many.
Bassist for the Turtles, Jim Pons, was born this day in 1946. Oh, my goodness.
Jim
What is
Pons.
this? I don't know this person. Jonah Louie, English singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. Jonah Louie was best known for his 1980 UK hits, You'll Always Find Me in the Kitchen at Parties.
Now we're going to have to listen to this after the show. just
Wow.
You'll
to
always
listen.
find me in
Wow,
the kitchen
sir.
at parties.
Doing what?
I mean, like cooking.
I'm cleaning and cooking. Look at this place. It's a mess.
He started his musical career as a member of Brett Marvin and the Thunderbolts.
That sounds so wrong.
That's great.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah.
Apparently. What are they doing?
Doesn't matter.
English musician Steve Lambert from Roman Holiday,
Okay.
born this day in 1963.
Sorry, I left the
Mi-
1983 one.
Michael Bland, drummer for Prince, starting in 1989.
It goes from 69 to 83. It's hysterical.
So that shows you just how many people were born on this day. What is today? The 14th? Jeez, oh man. March 14th?
Taylor Hanson,
Okay.
It's the 1983
happy
one.
birthday.
What year? 2006?
83,
1983.
He's a little.
Bop.
Yep.
Bop. That was inescapable.
Yeah.
I thought they were little girls when I saw them
Yeah.
on the video
No,
the first
I'm
time. I'm
like,
like, oh, how
no.
cute. Oh wait,
No.
they're boys.
No, they're not.
They were still cute to me, but I was also.
The really cute girl group out. They're not like super new, but their sisters are called Chaim.
Oh,
The three Jewish girls.
I don't think I know
Yes.
They
You don't know them?
They're really good.
Oh, they're fantastic.
I'm
Yeah,
into
they're really
plush
good. They're
right now.
pop group. No, it's
They're
just
pop,
like it's
yeah.
not.
Are they on like regular pop radio,
Yeah,
or are
yeah.
they more like a YEP kind of?
I think there's some hit songs.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're really good.
Like
Good
if we were
songwriting, good
down to
harmonies.
roller skate, we would. I
Roller
asked
skate?
Lily if she would want a couple skate.
I would couple skate with you, Lou. I would couple skate with you. I was so good at it.
Oh my
I was great at.
gosh. Who would skate
roller skating.
backwards? You or Lou?
Well, I probably would have to.
And forwards.
And forward.
And forward.
Skate forward and backward for me, please.
I'll just sit here and watch. Need a hot dog. Lily and Kevin are looking at dirty pictures.
No, we are not.
No, we were looking at...
We're obsessed with Steel City Con.
Still
Oh,
shitty.
he's coming to the con. Okay.
Still
I'm
shitty
like, why
con.
are you showing me this guy's
I
picture?
thought you knew.
I'm on drugs.
Oh, Rick. Hi, Rick. I haven't seen you in a hot second.
Hot second Rick.
Ooh, a hot second. Hot second
He's
Rick.
in the band Horrid Ordeal
There you
from
go.
Pittsburgh.
Hot. I like now. Your new name is Hot Second Rick.
No.
Sorry, Rick.
Way to go.
Lily, you can blame it on Lily V6.
He will. It's okay.
Hot Second Rick. I like it. They call me Hot Second
That's
Rick.
pretty cool.
Sorry, Rick.
Definitely use it.
Oh my goodness.
I'll do an
gracious.
extra promo for your festival.
Good.
Oh my god. So I don't know how it went.
We had a lot of watchers tonight.
Okay.
We really did.
Oh, well, I think too. People were kind of wondering what we were going to say. If you hate this record, then you hate it. Like I can't tell you what to like. I can't tell you what to hate.
But he's going to try.
I just liked what I liked, and I think it rocks pretty hard. I would own it. If owning records was like that's how you know what I
still a
mean,
thing?
like you had to
If it
own
was,
like
still a
I
thing?
couldn't hear it any other way. I had to own
Right,
it. Like I'd
right,
go
right.
buy it.
Yeah, but
you know?
you're going to stream it the way they didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it
show
exactly.
them.
I'll do it
Ultimate
exactly
FU
opposite of
Metallica.
what they wanted.
Streaming this.
That's funny, isn't that? Yeah, isn't that the irony of it?
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
Isn't it the moronic?
Isn't it moronic? Like this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's okay, but we did so good.
So good. I'm glad some folks watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the record, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. I mean, there's no counting for some
America.
people's taste.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We can disagree to
No,
agree.
that's fucking
We
hilarious.
can disagree to
Oh,
agree.
boy.
There's something else I wanted to bring. Oh, so, Lily, what do you have? Did you go to anything this week or?
I went to see The Batman on Sunday.
yeah.
It was good.
Just the Batman.
It's very long. If you're going to go to the theater, you
That's
might
what she
fall
said.
asleep. Yeah,
There you
right.
go.
It's very
It was good.
I'll
It has,
tell you one thing about that Batman. He long.
I mean, it's Robert Pattinson. He's probably not, but that's fine.
Big and long.
nice.
He's
Very
very emo.
sparkly.
It was a very long movie. It was 3 hours.
Yeah.
It gets very slow at parts, but it was a great movie. So I do recommend it. Maybe watching it at home, though, because I was, passing out. Other than that, I did not go to any shows. However, I do have an interview with Udo this Wednesday from
Yes.
Accept.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty excited about
I
that.
don't accept it. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
come
You
on.
will.
now. Come on now.
I will accept it. Yeah, wow, what a great band.
it.
He's no longer in Accept. He does solo stuff,
he
but
does
it will be good.
That is right.
Yeah, I saw that. I've heard somebody posted it in the inner circle. Well, that was pretty good. I always
Cool.
liked his voice.
Very
It's, and I thought Accept was hilarious. Like the balls to the wall videos,
Yeah.
like they're all like in the leather and they got the long hair and everything. And then like this guy comes like, wait a minute, who let this guy on the stage? Wait a minute, God, who's this guy? It's like one of these does not belong. But he's awesome. I mean, he's very awesome. He's got a cool like vibe and shit. But it's just, he's like in his own band. So Batman. Did you
Batman.
see anything, Pittsburgh Kevin?
Well, we talked about the Matrix, the Resurrection.
Matrix Resurrections. Now, I saw that about a month ago. I didn't want anybody to know
Yes,
I had seen
and I
it
understand that
because
now.
I felt like I was like
you feel
contributing to
violated?
something really fucking terrible
You felt cheated, didn't you?
in what's going on this fucking planet right now,
Yes.
and that is this like bastardizing of like
Bastardization.
awesome shit.
Fucking hell.
Stop doing it. Just stop it. Just stop.
Please.
You didn't. There's no need. Number one, the movie's completely unnecessary. It's just like
Right.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Second of all, it makes no sense. It's nonsense the whole time. It's just like, okay, and we'll jump up in the air and we'll do bullet time and and it's super meta. It's like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
how is it going? Like The Matrix was actually this like super immersive 3D video game. The Keanu Reeves character, Neo, Mr. Anderson, he's employed. He created it or something. It's like, and oh my God, it's just, and Doogie Howser is in it.
Oh.
You like, dude, I don't know what your name is in real life. Neil Patrick Harris, but you'll always be Doogie Howser to me. Sorry.
Right.
And you're gay, and that's fine, but you are Doogie. Like
Barney's-
gay Doogie.
What's his name? Barney. Barney what?
Barney Fife.
Wow, from Stilson, man. From
And
How I Met Your Mother.
I didn't watch
man.
that show.
Yeah. Lou, you didn't like my movie.
it's
Come on.
Jada. They do some weird thing with Jada Pinkett and age her, and it doesn't look. It looks like very. It looks like Joan Rivers.
Oh boy.
I should.
like they were trying to age this character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right.
But,
okay,
but,
yeah.
but at the same time,
I'm like,
it was
who
like they
is
aged
that?
her, but she gave herself like a facelift.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I'm like, Jada Pinkett,
like
what is
Joan
going on
Rivers.
here? I know you cheated on Will Smith and everything, so maybe that's why you're jacked up.
Oh my.
But
Truth comes out.
it's just nonsense. It just makes no fucking sense.
I was not pleased.
The
at all.
the tone of the film is very bizarre.
Yeah.
It's very it's kind of it's almost like lighthearted. None of the Matrix movies are lighthearted. They're all like pretty intense. None of it's meant to be like. It's just like, what were you fucking thinking, man? Like, it's just not good.
It made you mad.
Yeah.
That didn't make me mad. I was just like, but I'm all. But no, let me also say, I'm not one of these people like it ruined my childhood. I'm
did.
not doing that. It
did.
didn't ruin the other movies for me or whatever. But it's just like it just. It did, you remember there's some movies like you should never watch any of the sequels to. The Matrix was probably one of them, but the one where they all go to Las Vegas and
Oh, The Hangover.
The Hangover.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's one of those like
One
everybody
and
says
done.
like don't even
bother.
yeah, don't even bother. They're they're really
You'll hate your life.
They're on like TV movies.
Right.
It's the same movie 3 times in different settings.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Gives me a hangover.
It does.
So
It really does.
but I did what I wanted to say. What I wanted to bring up was I watched a really cool movie yesterday.
Yeah.
That I had saw when I was a kid, and I liked it when I was young for like
Okay.
certain reasons. I liked it, and then when as a middle-aged man,
You old.
as an old fuck,
You old. fuck.
I liked it for completely different reasons. So
Right.
it's 10 with Dudley Moore
There you
and
go,
Julie
yeah.
Andrews.
Okay, yeah.
And when I was younger, like people in their teens and 20s will watch that movie. Even people in their 30s watch that, and like they'll laugh at the slapstick comedy and the sort of like there's like a lot of naughty nudity and sex stuff. It's like done in a very
Naughty.
It's not. This is like attention trying to be dirty.
Right.
Funny, and things like that. There's like situational things that happen. So. But it's really a movie about a dude going through a midlife crisis, and there's that, and then and that's dealt with like really, 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 really well, and really fucking funny. But if your head isn't in that space,
Right.
you can like enjoy the movie for like different reasons.
Exactly.
But when that aspect of it is really like hilarious and thoughtful and kind of sweet, and it's good. So if you haven't seen 10 in a long time, you should go back and watch it.
Yo, man.
It's worth it.
Bo Derek's tits.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know the story, right? John Derek married her, or got together with her, and they got married when she was like 16.
Wow.
And they couldn't come to the United States for 2 years.
Yeah. You know what that quote's from, right? Yo, man, Bo Derek's tits. You know what that's from?
No.
That is from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh wow, no.
Where they're driving in the Camaro.
I
and
need
they're
to
talking about
rewatch that.
Yes, yes.
That's a good rewatch.
You
Yeah,
do
and
watch
and I gotta add to my list. Peggy Sue got married.
Oh,
my
man, I
sister
don't
I
have
love that movie.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch that.
Nick Cage.
And speaking of Nick Cage, this is what I want to get to before we leave. So we're just prattling on for a couple minutes. Indulge us.
Why not? It's free.
There's a new Nick Cage movie coming out with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, where he plays Nick
Cage.
I can't wait to see
And
that.
I started watching the trailer thinking it was going to be like something shitty, but it started to get good. So I turned the trailer off because I don't want to spoil it.
Right, don't spoil it. Yeah.
But it looks fucked up. It looks crazy.
Yeah.
It looks kind of very
Where he plays it.
self-deprecating,
That's gonna be kinda
self-aware.
cool.
Might
Did
watch
you ever
it.
see the John Van Damme, God damn it, mother effer,
No.
where he plays himself?
Oh, I heard about it. Is it
That
good?
was really good. That was really good.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Jean-Claude Van
that was
Damme.
good. Yeah. JC, whatever, whatever, and then year or whatever.
Right.
It was really good. It was a lot of fun to watch.
All right, so you guys been listening to Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. Go to LudiniRockandRollCircus.com and LuLombardiMusic.com.
Yes, sir.
WolfsCustoms.online or search them on social media to get some great custom artwork on your guitar. RockRageRadio.com is the website to download the app for great music programming 24/7. The Ludini Rock and Roll Circus is like everywhere. You can do this. Do this.
What?
Those of you that have Amazon in your house, say, Alexa, play the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus.
Shut up.
And Alexa will playing the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus.
That's cool.
So so play us on Amazon and stuff like that too, because that helps to kind of, help us,
Get the word out.
get the word out a little bit. So, Lily V, speaking of Rock Rage Radio, Lily V6.
My show is Thursdays, Hot Licks with Lily 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can download the app like Lou said, or just go to rockrageradio.com.
All righty then.
All right.
So, all right, guys. Pittsburgh Kevin, any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to leave us with today?
No, I'm serious. I'm going to try to work on a theme song for This Day in Music. So that should be fun.
Okay, well.
If you think saying anger sucked, just
Oh,
wait.
boy.
Can I borrow your snare drum?
No. I'm telling you what, I never want to be this close to a snare drum again.
All right, guys, have a great one. Next week, the podcast will be about the absolute shittiest record deals in the history of rock and roll. Some tragic and crazy stories about that sort of thing. So we're going to have a very educational program for you next week.
Yay.
Guys, have a great week. Catch you on the next Ludini Rock and Roll Circus.
We're off and out from Texas, or of which we have the access, but with